Okay. So the whole thing about the circle of power or the circle of circumstances, this is a circumstance. It never equates. It never does that. It just does that. So their circumstances are not. Well, that's what created their circumstance. Is this what they are? It's kind of conflicting like that. It all is based on the static space created the whole thing, and they're perplexed by it. Deities are too. God is too. The whole thing is a complicated logic that makes no sense. It seems like it makes no sense. But what creates a circumstance for a lot of people that aren't good too is complicated, and it is interesting where it leads. But to deal with certain people, they always try to, and they get further in their circumstance, which is what they don't want, and that's kind of ridiculously hilarious sometimes to understand that. But look, the whole thing, what I was trying to figure out, my personal situation is this: the wave, the wave, kind of like if you're in tune with the oceanic wave, it kind of reveals stuff about people all the time, but not humanly, almost. And in a way, it's kind of interesting. But if you're derived from the ocean, then you can understand anyway. And that's what gets people into messes a lot, like good people into a lot of messes. And that's another comedy. Yeah, it's like a PA system for like the Earth. The thing is this: the whole thing keeps on, but the whole thing is mysterious because it adds up to that, and that's what static space created mostly for everything. This, but what that is complicated. It's like if men and women can perfectly get along, it'd be this, but that never happens. So it's this. So women take the feminine side and men take the masculine side, and then they end up like this all the time, because that's just how static space was. The problem of the whole thing is static space is not even the beginning of this whole story, but that's where we're located. We're located in the region of something and everything and something and no beginning, no end, which is like this. But what that means also is a lot of things too. It means like complicated, because it's like a discussion that I had about God in Box 1 Genesis and the 8,000 Forces, about God, really, how he understood, perhaps in my translation of the Genesis in the Bible a little bit too. Box 1 Genesis is like the whole area of space in a way. It's like a section of space, but it's about family. And that's complicated to understand. God is very interesting in this, but no one understands static space, not just in this region, the whole damn thing. The whole damn thing. Every multiverse, every omniverse is about it. The funny thing is this doesn't end there, and static space knows that, nothing else does. Look, there are people that have a lot of information, right? But the problem is you can't like ask them for it that much. If they offer it, they offer it. But the thing is this: when there is a circumstance that keeps on cycling, that's what people have been trying to figure out the whole time. The cycle. So the ocean moves like this, but the cycle is too complicated and it moves too fast, and it's not always circular. The thing is, the whole thing, it goes beyond human comprehension. Is where the answers are found, really, and people don't have it. People don't have the answers. It goes beyond human, comprehension. So whatever people are battling, people about, probably about women. Probably is mostly about women, believe it or not. Or, like I mentioned in the beginning of this segment, how the wicked characters seem to have a plot that or a circumstance that leads somewhere interesting. That's what wars could be about too. Or some good people that are powerful that aren't the greatest, but they're not the worst either. But there's those echelons. Now it doesn't, and on this one I'm going to say it doesn't always amount to the three: intelligence, sex, and wealth. That's why I simplified it to make a point. But what I'm figuring out is the whole thing now. The whole thing is billions of circumstances. The circle of power are not evil. They're just pissed off that they're in that circumstance. All of them are. And they get you here. How they get you here is not complicated either. It's not. If you knew what they look like too, if you knew what they look, there are pictures of them, actually. But I'm not going to talk about that quite yet. They're not in the best mood all the time, and they're pissed off that they have to create more circumstances for themselves in a manner, but by bringing people into the picture. Where you come from is other planets, really. Other planets that you might have had a better circumstance in, but the problem is what happens in the other universes or other planets is you might have had a better circumstance, is why you're pissed off to be here anyway. But the circumstance is not wrong, though. I'll tell you why. What they're trying to really ascertain is how far this way and how far that way. Not this way only, either. Not this way either. How far that way or that way. And that's what they've been always trying to gauge and measure. And we're not the gauges to measure, but what we do naturally is humans can understand of the sexual. A lot of the sexual, like a good, pretty heavy degree of it. What they're trying to figure out is why not even the sexual works, and that's the most harmonious of the forces or desires or instincts of life. They're trying to figure out why that doesn't even work at all. It's a cataclysm of problems. And no one understands this, though, what I was trying to figure out, and I'm trying to figure it out myself. The ocean always moves like that, though. She always moves like this, and it comes back all the time. But the whole thing is not wrong either. It's not a complicated discussion at this point. Look, when you're in a circumstance with people, it's almost comedic, unless it's like a dangerous circumstance, which it could happen too, because it was comedic at the beginning, it could be dangerous later with the evil, wicked people, the rich, evil, wicked people. The problem is it keeps on getting more ridiculous. Because look, in my case scenario, it keeps on exacting the same answer all the time for me. For me, the same damn effing answer. And that's what makes me, because I'm nothing like a character like it. I'm nothing like a character like the answer that I've been given. The problem is great in that respect. That's why there's a conflict, a major conflict. The funny thing is, the uncanny thing is this time delays everything for me, and usually doesn't want to. Your time usually wants to direct you to getting it over with. But time works the opposite respect for me, where it delays it. With a lot of people, it doesn't delay it. Time doesn't delay it. But look, the weirdest things have happened in my existence, and I was trying to figure out a few things along the way to clarify where I'm coming from. Look, the answers that I'm given all the time conflict with me. And they're the same damn answers throughout existence. So what am I going to do? But the whole thing looks like this. That's why I'm in a circumstance beyond them, to beyond the circle of power. Because I'm in a circumstance not with nature at all, with something very key here to understand. I'm in a circumstance with something that wants me to address something that I never want to address, I never care about addressing, and it's preposterous and it's insurmountable. What I was trying to figure out the whole time is why me? why am I in that circumstance? And it's almost like a joke by now. But look, it's not, because I'm pissed. I get pissed about it. The whole thing doesn't know why. It just thinks it is. It just thinks it is. The ocean doesn't particularly think so, though. What happens, though, is this. There's more of a depth to the circumstance, isn't there? When there's a depth, the ocean reveals that, too. And that's why people are afraid of the ocean a lot. Because the depth of the circumstance reveals the exact opposite of a symmetry, too. But then it flings back to something good. And that's what I was trying to ascertain the whole time. Like it goes, you see, you have to follow the pattern. From static space or death or no life comes all this. And then from the opposite symmetry, a diameter space-time was created. They created the planets and all the life. Well, this is complicated now, because that's the beginning of a symmetry scale. And my symmetry scale particularly, it goes in complicated directions too, just for my existence. And it's not bullshit, because I can, if I understand it correctly, then I can regulate how that works throughout time for me. The only problem is when there's no conversation about it with people, with me, then what I can do is absolutely nothing. I can do absolutely nothing and just crack up. And that's what I've been doing for the past few incarnations. It's just cracking up. What am I going to do? But when there is, like I said, that time will allow more circumstances for me in the future, perhaps. Then I'll have to take those chances and understand where I'm going to go from there. But the thing is, like, it does happen eventually. It just takes time, and that's the frustrating news of my particular answer. But in the grand answer, the wave works like that. But then it works in depth. The wave is like an answer flying around, like an element or an answer. But then it goes to a depth like that, and that's where people will get baffled by people all the time. Thank you.